Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we'll be taking a look at the Betron HD800s, or HD800X. I'm not sure if they can make up their mind in marketing, but these are a perfectly meh set of headphones, which actually, the sum of the parts works out to be a lot more than the whole. Confused? You will be. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we'll be taking a look at the Betron HD800 headset. This is a Bluetooth wired headset, Bluetooth and wired headset I should say rather, so you've got the choice between two. These are what I would call a perfectly kind of average headset, but there's a lot of little additions which actually make it so that it's actually really good considering the price point. So we're going to go through today, we'll do an unboxing, go through the features, we'll do some sound tests, etc, etc. I'll give you my feedback on what I think what the sound profile's like, all that kind of usual stuff. And you can work out whether or not these are going to be suitable for your next purchase. Now I should say straight away, these were actually sent to us very kindly by Ugly Bob. He's a sucker for these kind of deals, so he sent them over and I'm really glad he did. When they turned up, I'll be completely honest with you, I looked at the box, looked at the specifications, and I was thinking, oh, here we go again. Another average set of Bluetooth headphones. But actually, I'm very surprised. There's a lot of features about these which kind of you don't always take initial notice of, but then you think, actually, that's really bloody clever. I'm glad they've done it. Anyway, let's go through, we'll do the unboxing, show you what you get, all that kind of stuff, and then, like I say, you can work out whether they're right for you. So first of all, obviously, you get the headphones themselves. They do come in a particularly nice bit of packaging here, so you've got all the details on. They've gone really overboard on the whole reflective embossed stuff, which basically makes it almost impossible to film. Speaking of which, I'll give you the specs on the side of the box. You can see the frequency range, so frequency range between 20 and 20,000 Hertz. These are Bluetooth 4.1, not 5.0, which would have been preferable, but you do get a battery life of somewhere in the region of about 12 hours, although I would actually disagree with that. It seems to be considerably longer. They take roughly about 2 hours to charge from completely flat, so not the worst. They do come with all the cables that you expect, and also they do come with a particularly nice hard carry case, as you can see. So we've got the Betron logo on there. Got a handle on there, so if you want to carry it like a bowling ball, you certainly can do. But it's going to be great for going on holiday, that sort of thing. You can pack them away. They're not going to get destroyed by the luggage carriers, that sort of thing, or bounced around in the back of the station wagon. Got a couple of zips on there to keep it all nice and tidy. And the clamshell opens up. There's a section at the bottom there for strapping in your headphones. And you've got a pocket up here, which you can put in, obviously, cables, other bits and pieces if you want to. Even like an MP3 player or some sort of Bluetooth thing, whatever. There's a little bit of Velcro there to keep it all fastened in nicely. So yeah, really nice job. Again, hard carry case at this sort of price point is not that often the sort of thing you'd get. It's yeah, quite unusual. Now I should talk about the price straight away. So the price of these normally retailing somewhere in the region of about £40, which kind of puts it in a very weird place because there is other options on the market. But when these are reduced, which Betron do all the time on Amazon, these were actually reduced down at the moment to about £29.99. I'm pretty sure when Bob picked them up, they were somewhere between sort of maybe 20, slightly even less. So definitely worth keeping an eye on for bargains. We will be posting bargains like we always do on our Discord, in the Bargains No Chat, and also on our community feed. So if you're not already a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and the chime notification, and you'll see all these kinds of things popping up on your YouTube feed. So also included in the box, you get a charging cable, because obviously these are Bluetooth, so you are going to require charging. Sadly, it is micro USB, which is not always the best, but it is functional. And to be honest with you, pretty much anywhere you go in the world, you'll probably find someone who's got a spare micro USB cable because they don't use it because everything's USB-C now, but I digress. This is another one of the really cool features, which is very unusual. So they actually include a 3.5mm jack. So this is 3.5mm, and this terminates in a TRRS, so that is combination headset and microphone. This is so you can use them wired. So if for some reason your battery runs out, or you just don't want to use Bluetooth, or you've got a device which doesn't have Bluetooth, you can use them in wired mode. It is TRRS, so you may need an adapter for certain devices. Mobile phones, that sort of thing is going to be absolutely fine. But what is a nice cool feature is there is actually a little kind of answer reject calls button, or play pause, or whatever you want to call it, actually built into the actual cable with a tiny little hole there, which is actually a microphone. Now you're probably thinking, well, why would you have a microphone on this? So this is actually part of the really clever thing. These are specifically designed, this cable, for this headset. Now when you're using it in Bluetooth, in headset mode, you get both the audio and also your microphone, which are all transmitted via Bluetooth, which is a seamless thing. But when you actually use most Bluetooth headphones in wired mode without the power on, generally you're very unlikely to actually get a mic actually enabled on it, which can be a little bit frustrating, especially if you're doing longer gaming periods or just communicating, whatever it is. So having that cable and having the option to use the microphone with it both powered and unpowered is excellent, and I haven't actually seen that on any other headset. If you've seen it on a headset, please do let me know in the comments section below, but for me, this is definitely a first. Okay, so this is a sound test and recording of the built-in Bluetooth microphone. Sadly, it is only one channel and 1600 kilohertz, which is effectively kind of tape recorder clarity from what Windows is telling me. But anyway, let's read through this so you can hear what it sounds like. So this is the Betron HD800 wireless Bluetooth headphones with microphone, over-ear design, bass-driven sound, 50mm driver, compatible with iPhone, tablet, computer, laptop, MP3 player, etc. Let's try some plosives. So Peter picked a piece of pickled pepper. Peter picked a piece of pickled pepper. Now this is currently being recorded in the Mub studio, so there's probably going to be some echo and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what this sounds like on playback. Also included there is an instruction manual, as you'd expect, which comes emblazoned with the HD800X logo on. This confuses me because it doesn't appear that there is a separate X version. So the HD800X, which is what this box is, but the HD800, which is listed on Amazon, etc., they appear to be exactly the same thing. So I'm not entirely sure what's happened with the marketing there. Hence why the video, if you see the description, it says HD800 stroke HD800X. They do appear to be exactly the same thing, and when you power them up and connect them via Bluetooth in Windows, they do show up in Windows as the HD800X. So let's take a closer look at the actual headset itself. So first of all, one of the things you'll notice is actually really lightweight. That's always a nice thing. You don't want something really big and heavy strapped to your head all day long, which is potentially what you could do again with that 12-hour playback time. I can't imagine anyone wearing these for 12 hours unless you actually fall asleep with them on, which you probably could do, because they are actually super comfy. Despite the looks, they do look very kind of industrial and a bit harsh, but they're very, very comfortable, thanks mostly to the actual foam ear cups, which are removable as well, which surprises me greatly. A lot of the time, these slightly cheaper headsets, everything's kind of molded and pressed together, designed to never come apart and basically only last until they essentially fall apart or die. At least with these, you can potentially replace the ear caps or ear pads rather, although you probably won't want to because they are extremely comfortable. Very deep, very plush, very comfortable. They are a kind of leatherette finish, so potentially, depending on the temperatures, you may find them getting a little bit sweaty after a while, which is an inherent thing of this type of design. Would have been nice if these were a foam or kind of like a mesh finish. That would have been fantastic, would have alleviated that. But part of the reason why they've done it is because they are actually kind of semi-noise cancelling as well. So because you've got almost a solid leather thing there, when you put them on your ears, and they are on ear, so your ear does fit inside the entire thing, which, despite them looking like it's a very small circle, because they are so padded, your ear does fit in. So when you put them on, my ear is completely encased, and I am having trouble kind of getting my volume right because I can't hear a lot of the outside world. So they do work as kind of semi-noise cancelling, which is great, mostly again due to the cushions and also the fact they are a closed back design. The closed back design as well gives you a little bit more bass. Doesn't quite give you that spatial awareness that you would do normally, but certainly in terms of bass, if you're a bass junkie, you're going to like these a lot. Frequency response, as I said a little bit earlier, is 20 to 20,000 hertz, so you're going to get those nice deep rumbly bass sounds. I've actually watched a couple of movies wearing these, and also just some general stuff, watching YouTube videos, etc. No lag in Windows at all when you're using these in Bluetooth mode, which is unusual. Normally, when you're using Bluetooth 4.1 on Windows, for some reason you do get a lag in YouTube, but didn't find that at all. Very enjoyable, very clear. There isn't anything actually outstanding about the sound quality. It's just a nice, warm, I would say it's very kind of charismatic, if that's the right word. It's just the Betron soundstage, which they seem to have tuned in pretty much most of their headsets and earbuds, etc., etc. It's all very warm. It's not that usual kind of flat that you get with some higher end stuff. So potentially for sound purists, you may want to tweak with the EQ a little bit. But for most people, you can just plug these in and they just sound really nice. The bass is nice and strong. The mid-range is absolutely fine. Again, watching movies, where you generally tend to find, especially if you're watching things on like Amazon Prime, where the sound stage is kind of really bass heavy, the treble's quite heavy, but the mid-range is a little bit muddy. These actually sound really good, very crisp and clear. I was watching Equalizer 2, Denzel Washington, great film, you should watch it if you haven't already. Yeah, and all the vocals, all the dialogue comes through really nice, crystal clear. So yeah, no faults there whatsoever. When it comes to actually controlling things, such as volume, etc., whilst in the Bluetooth mode, you have got some buttons on the side there. So you've got plus, on, off, and minus. So that is obviously in the middle, turn it on or off, answer calls, reject calls, all that kind of stuff. Press the plus button and that will increase volume. Press and hold it for a couple of seconds and you can fast forward, rewind, all that kind of usual stuff. Nice that there's only 3 buttons on there and they are seeming to be very intuitive. So whilst you're using them, the plus is at the top. So when you're wearing them, you press the top button, it gets louder, press the bottom button, it gets quieter, which makes absolute total sense in my opinion. Also, you've got the micro USB charging port there. You've also got the 3.5mm jack. In between that, there's, you can probably still see it actually, the flashing blue LED. So that does flash periodically whilst in Bluetooth mode, but it is kind of downward facing. So when you're actually wearing them, if you're out and about in the street, no one's going to know that they're on at all. You could be just one of those nutters who walks around with these on with nothing playing through them, but that's entirely up to you. There is also on the front there a little mic. So that is the Bluetooth mic. The other mic, when you're using it in wired mode, is actually on the cable itself. So that's all good. Adjustment wise, quite unusual adjustment as well. So this is on a slider. So there's no real indentations, it just slides up and down on a friction base. And there's a cable which flexes in between there. I was a little concerned that the cable might not be quite long enough. They've done it in like a flat style, so even though it is being flexed around a lot, then it should last okay. You do get a normal warranty with these, so should anything happen to them, I think they're going to be absolutely fine though. And once you dial them into your appropriate size for your noggin, then yeah, they're extremely comfortable. I've got no complaints whatsoever there. They do fit very nicely. The only thing I did notice is the headband is a little bit on the thin side in terms of the padding, but the padding is nice and thick rather than being like a very flimsy foam. It's actually quite nice memory foam, it appears. And also you've got some really nice stitching elements on the top there, which have been done quite nicely. And also you've got this kind of fake leatherette top with the Betron branding on there, all well and good. Nice bit of flex to them as well, so if you've got a larger head, they're going to be absolutely fine. Smaller head, they compress nicely, and they do give you quite a nice tight seal on your ears, again, down to that noise cancelling. So yeah, overall, like I said, I wasn't expecting a great deal from these, being that they're relatively cheap, and technically, specification-wise, there isn't really a great deal to get excited about. But the sound quality, the comfort, the battery, the flexibility of the microphone being used when wired and wireless mode, all adds up to give these, I would say, more value than you'd think from the cost of them. But there you go, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Certainly, if these are on offer at anywhere around the sort of £20 to £25 mark, I don't think you can go too far wrong. When you start creeping up a little bit more into the 30s, £35, £40 mark, I would certainly think there are other options potentially on the market. Again, depending on what is important to you, noise cancelling, comfort, battery length, the ability to use a mic wired or wireless, that does tick a lot of boxes in my opinion. But my opinion isn't important, what yours is, so let us know in the comment section below. And for now, I'll be Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.